A shiver ran down Emma's spine the moment she first laid eyes on Daniel across the crowded cafe in downtown New York. Something about him felt familiar, magnetic, almost dangerously intoxicating. She knew, deep down, that what was stirring inside her should be forbidden, yet every instinct screamed otherwise. How could a connection so undeniable, so raw, feel completely wrong? How do you fight the pull of someone who feels like home even when your heart knows it's off limits? Disclaimer: this is a dramatic content for awareness and discussion only. It all began in the fall of 2016, in the heart of Manhattan. Emma, a young editor for a publishing house, spent her days surrounded by words and stories, thinking her life was predictable, safe, and structured. Daniel, on the other hand, was a brilliant but mysterious architect, whose work dominated the skyline yet whose personal life remained a puzzle. Their worlds were never meant to collide, yet fate seemed determined otherwise. A single brush of hands over a shared stack of manuscripts sparked a fire neither could ignore. Days turned into weeks, and their encounters became frequent. Coffee breaks that stretched into long, meandering conversations, casual touches that lingered just a heartbeat too long, glances that said everything words could not. There was a thrill in secrecy, a forbidden allure that both excited and terrified them. Emma would return to her apartment at night, heart racing, asking herself if she was betraying something sacred. Daniel, equally conflicted, wrestled with guilt and desire, knowing that giving in could destroy more than just professional boundaries, it could ruin lives. Yet, despite all caution, there was an unspoken agreement between them. They understood the danger but chose to step closer anyway. The city around them was oblivious to the storm brewing in their hearts, a storm that promised ecstasy and devastation in equal measure. Every moment they shared became a question of morality versus desire, a dance on the edge of temptation. One evening, as the autumn leaves painted the streets amber, Emma found herself standing outside Daniel's apartment building, heart pounding in her chest. She knew walking away was the right choice, yet her feet betrayed her, carrying her to the door as if drawn by some invisible force. Inside, the apartment was warm, filled with the scent of cedarwood and books, his world, so utterly his, so inviting. And in that moment, nothing else existed but them, and the impossible intimacy of their connection. Could love be both right and wrong at the same time? Could two people feel destined for each other while living in a reality that forbids their union? Emma and Daniel were about to discover the devastating consequences of answering that question. As their worlds collided, the choices they made would ripple in ways neither could foresee, each decision a step closer to heartbreak, or perhaps, ruin. If this story has already gripped your heart, comment, "I feel the tension." Share this story with those who crave tales of secret passion. Subscribe to Taboo Romance Stories TVc, and follow for more real-life, heart-wrenching, and suspenseful forbidden love stories. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell, because the next chapter of Emma and Daniel's story will plunge even deeper into temptation, betrayal, and a forbidden passion that refuses to let go. The nights in New York City had taken on a new dimension for Emma. Streetlights reflected off the wet pavement as if the city itself were aware of the secret burning between her and Daniel. Every text, every subtle glance, every unspoken word carried an intensity that was impossible to ignore. She had never believed in the cliché of forbidden love, yet here she was, entangled in a web she both craved and feared. She felt alive in a way that terrified her, every heartbeat a drum announcing a secret she couldn't keep. Weeks passed, and their encounters became more deliberate, more daring. What started as casual coffee breaks and library meetings had evolved into late-night rendezvous in Daniel's sleek, high-rise apartment, where the city's glow was the only witness. Emma had tried to justify it to herself, This was a mere connection between two like-minded souls, nothing more. But the stolen kisses, lingering touches, and the way Daniel looked at her with a hunger she had never seen in anyone else, made honesty impossible. She was losing the battle between reason and desire. Daniel, for his part, was haunted by his own set of conflicts. He had built a life on discipline and meticulous planning, yet Emma had shattered that order in a single, fleeting smile. He would sit at his drafting table late into the night, staring at the blueprints of buildings he would never complete, thinking of her laugh, the curve of her lips, the way her hair fell across her face. Every logical thought told him to stop, yet his body betrayed him, reaching for her memory in every quiet moment. One rainy evening, Emma found herself hiding beneath the awning of a cafe, waiting for Daniel. He was late, always late, and her impatience was matched only by the thrill coursing through her veins. When he finally arrived, drenched and apologetic, the sight of him sent a surge of emotion that was almost unbearable. Without a word, she reached for his hand, feeling the warmth, the pulse, the undeniable connection that had brought them here. They laughed in nervous, guilty delight, knowing they were skating on a dangerous edge. Yet, danger wasn't just an abstract idea, it was tangible, creeping into their lives in ways they could not ignore. Daniel's fiancée, a poised and intelligent woman named Sophia, had started noticing the cracks in their relationship. Subtle changes, missed appointments, moments of distraction. It was nothing concrete yet, but she sensed the shift, the growing void between them. Emma tried to reassure herself that they were careful, that their secret was safe, but every interaction carried the weight of potential exposure. Their professional worlds were not immune either. Emma's editor colleagues had begun commenting on her distracted demeanor, the slight redness around her eyes from sleepless nights, the constant glances at her phone. Daniel's architecture firm was under scrutiny for upcoming projects, and the stress left him irritable and distracted. Both knew that continuing their clandestine affair would come at a cost, but the emotional pull was irresistible. Every moment apart was agony. Every encounter was electric, charged with desire and guilt in equal measure. One weekend, they found themselves in a secluded cabin upstate, a plan meant to escape the city and their obligations, yet it only amplified the intensity of their bond. The forest around them was silent, the snow thick on the ground, and the isolation made them more vulnerable than ever. As they sat by the fire, conversation dwindled into meaningful silence, the air thick with unspoken tension. Emma's fingers brushed Daniel's as they reached for a cup of tea, and the spark was instantaneous, igniting a flame that no moral code could extinguish. It was here that the first real consequences made themselves known. Sophia, unwilling to ignore her instincts, decided to confront Daniel, catching him in a fleeting moment of emotional vulnerability over a phone call. The confrontation was subtle but devastating, a single accusation, a hint of doubt, and Daniel realized that their secret could not remain hidden much longer. Emma, oblivious to the brewing storm, felt a chill that had nothing to do with the snow outside. The very thing that had made their love intoxicating, its forbidden nature, was now threatening to unravel everything. The tension was unbearable. Every decision now carried the weight of inevitable revelation, every touch a dangerous risk. Could they survive the consequences of a love so impossible, so consuming? Emma wondered if the thrill was worth the pain that was sure to follow, while Daniel questioned whether desire could ever justify the betrayal it demanded. And just when it seemed that their stolen moments would be forever confined to shadows, fate had a cruel twist in store, a revelation that would test the very foundation of their connection. Their next encounter was meant to be the last safe meeting, a chance to savor the passion before returning to reality. But as they met in a dimly lit park, the air was thick with foreboding. A figure emerged from the shadows, a presence neither of them expected, carrying news that would shatter their fragile sanctuary. The world they had built on secrecy and stolen intimacy was about to crumble, and neither was prepared for the consequences that awaited. Do you feel the pull of Emma and Daniel's forbidden love? Can passion justify betrayal, or is the cost always too high? Comment. I need answers. If this story has gripped your heart, share with those who crave tales of love and danger. Subscribe to Taboo Romance Stories TVc, and turn on the notification bell. The next part will plunge even deeper into heartbreak, deception, and the shocking truths that could destroy everything. Emma froze as the figure stepped closer, and Daniel's grip on her hand tightened instinctively. It was not Sophia, as they had feared, but a man she had never seen before, a journalist named Lucas, known for exposing scandals in high-profile relationships. His presence here was no coincidence. He held a small recorder in his hand, and the smirk playing on his lips made Emma's blood run cold. The intimacy and secrecy they had carefully cultivated over months were suddenly in jeopardy, vulnerable to public exposure, ridicule, and heartbreak. Daniel, Emma, I think you know why I'm here, Lucas said smoothly, his tone clinical but laced with an undercurrent of menace. Daniel tried to step forward, blocking Emma, his jaw tight with anger and fear. Every careful plan, every precaution they had taken to protect themselves, now seemed laughably inadequate. The journalist's eyes glimmered with anticipation, and Emma felt a wave of panic crush her chest. The consequences they had been trying to avoid were no longer hypothetical, they were about to become reality. Emma's mind raced. Could she leave Daniel now and save herself from exposure? Could they somehow negotiate or bribe their way out of this? Every thought collided with another, each more impossible than the last. Daniel's whispered plea, "Stay calm, Emma," was drowned out by the pounding of her own heart. She felt trapped, caught between fear, desire, and a loyalty that was as dangerous as it was undeniable. Lucas wasn't here for a story of love. He wanted the scandal, the betrayal, the forbidden passion that could sell 1,000 headlines. He revealed snippets of texts and photos, pieces of evidence painstakingly gathered over weeks, and Emma's stomach twisted. How had they missed the signs that their lives were no longer their own? Every stolen moment, every passionate glance, every hidden rendezvous was suddenly laid bare to the world, or at least, to the one person who could make it so. Daniel's face darkened with rage and guilt. He had known that secrecy was fragile, that one slip could cost them everything, but he had convinced himself that love could transcend the consequences. Now, faced with the tangible reality of exposure, he realized that they had underestimated the stakes. Emma, her hands trembling, saw the man she loved on the brink of unraveling, and she knew that their connection, though fierce and undeniable, could be a death sentence for both their reputations and their hearts. The following days were a blur of tension, whispered meetings, and sleepless nights. Emma and Daniel navigated a minefield of suspicion, secrecy, and emotional vulnerability. Every interaction with colleagues, friends, and family carried the risk of discovery. Daniel tried to maintain a facade of normalcy with Sophia, whose intuition had grown sharper, while Emma attempted to continue her daily life as though nothing had shifted. The strain was almost unbearable, the emotional cost mounting with each passing hour. One evening, Daniel suggested a temporary escape, a retreat to the coast where the world would not reach them. Emma agreed, desperate to breathe, to feel something resembling freedom even for a fleeting moment. The seaside house was isolated, waves crashing against the cliffs, the wind carrying a chill that matched the tension in their hearts. Here, away from the prying eyes and mounting pressures, they allowed themselves to be completely vulnerable, their passion mingling with fear, love, and the bitter taste of impending disaster. Yet even in this sanctuary, reality intruded. Daniel's phone vibrated constantly, messages from work, family, and Lucas, each one a reminder that the world outside their bubble was closing in. Emma felt herself breaking under the weight of secrecy and fear, her body craving the safety of honesty even as her heart rebelled. The forbidden nature of their love was intoxicating, yes, but it had become a cage, a prison of anxiety and longing from which there was no escape. The turning point came when Sophia, guided by intuition and fragments of truth, arrived unannounced at the coastal retreat. She had followed clues, pieced together rumors, and traced their movements with a determination that chilled Emma to her core. The confrontation was inevitable. Sophia's eyes, sharp and questioning, met Daniel's, and in that moment, the fragile web of lies began to unravel. Emma's stomach churned with guilt, fear, and the bitter sting of reality crashing over them. Could love survive such exposure? Could hearts battered by betrayal ever find forgiveness? Words became daggers as accusations and confessions tumbled into the open. Daniel tried to protect Emma, but the damage was done. Every secret, every betrayal, every stolen moment of ecstasy now carried the weight of undeniable truth. Emma felt herself spiraling, torn between loyalty, desire, and the growing sense that they had created something beautiful yet unsustainable. Their love, so fervent and consuming, had become a storm with no apparent shelter. The days that followed were marked by silent reckonings, broken routines, and the quiet ache of longing for a connection that could no longer exist in secrecy. Friends and family noticed the change, colleagues whispered, and the shadow of scandal hovered like a specter. Daniel and Emma were forced to confront the hardest question yet: was their love worth the cost of everything they held dear? And in the shadows of their hearts, an even darker truth waited, a revelation about Daniel's past, one that could destroy not just their love, but their very sense of reality. Do you believe Emma and Daniel can survive the fallout of exposure? Is there a way for forbidden love to endure the truth, or is heartbreak inevitable? Comment. I need answers. If this story has gripped your heart, share with those drawn to tales of passion and danger. Subscribe to Taboo Romance Stories TVc, and turn on the notification bell. The next part will reveal shocking secrets, ultimate betrayals, and the devastating choices that could change everything forever. The moment Sophia stepped into the coastal house, the air seemed to thicken with tension, every breath a reminder of the storm they had been trying to outrun. Daniel's hand trembled as he reached for Emma, and she instinctively moved closer, her heart pounding, mind screaming warnings she could barely hear over the tidal roar outside. Sophia's eyes, sharp and unwavering, landed on Emma first, a flash of recognition and accusation dancing across her face. In that instant, the fragile illusion of control that Daniel and Emma had built around their secret began to crumble like sand beneath relentless waves. Words were exchanged, carefully at first, then spilling over into raw, uncontrolled emotion. Daniel tried to justify, to explain, to beg for understanding, but every sentence only seemed to tighten the knot of tension. Sophia, poised and deliberate, revealed she had known pieces of the truth for weeks, quietly observing, waiting for confirmation, and now she demanded answers. Emma felt herself cornered, emotions crashing over her in waves, fear, guilt, desire, and the desperate need to protect Daniel mingled in a storm she could not calm. The love they had shared in secret now hung between them like a fragile glass ornament, ready to shatter at any wrong touch. Daniel finally confessed fully, his voice breaking under the weight of years of suppressed passion and guilt. He admitted every stolen moment, every whisper of intimacy, every secret rendezvous, and as he spoke, Emma felt a tremor of both relief and dread. They had crossed every line imaginable, yet even now, the clarity of confession brought only temporary solace. Sophia's reaction was a mixture of disbelief, hurt, and controlled fury. She had been betrayed not by rumors, but by the undeniable evidence of love she had never imagined could be so consuming, so forbidden. The confrontation escalated into a raw, emotional battlefield. Tears streaked faces, hands shook, and the truth, sharp and unrelenting, pierced through every facade they had attempted to maintain. Emma felt her heart fracture in a new way. Every glance at Daniel, every acknowledgement of their love, now came with the crushing weight of consequence. Could love survive when morality and loyalty demanded surrender? Could desire withstand the judgment of those whose lives they had inadvertently entangled in their secret passion? In the days that followed, Daniel and Emma faced not just the wrath of Sophia, but also the subtle pressures of social perception. Friends and family began to notice changes: glances held too long, words carefully measured, moments of absence unexplained. The clandestine affair that had once thrilled them became a shadowed chain, and Emma realized that no retreat, no coastal sanctuary, could shield them from the consequences of a love society deemed impossible. The intoxicating rush of their connection now carried the sting of inevitability, the bittersweet knowledge that passion could ignite, but never last, without cost. It was during a sleepless night, the wind lashing against the house, that Daniel revealed the truth about his past, a past he had kept hidden even from Emma. Secrets that could shatter everything. Financial entanglements, a prior engagement, connections to people who would stop at nothing to maintain their influence. Everything he had withheld now threatened to destroy their fragile love. Emma's heart twisted with shock, anger, and the painful recognition that their love story was far more complicated than desire alone. How could she navigate the labyrinth of lies, truths, and dangerous loyalties that now surrounded them? The next days became a strategic battle for survival, emotionally, socially, and morally. Daniel and Emma carefully maneuvered through meetings, messages, and encounters with Sophia, Lucas, and others who now held pieces of their story. Every smile, every word, every glance had to be calculated, because a single misstep could unleash a cascade of ruin. Emma found herself questioning the very foundation of their love. Was it worth the price of secrecy, heartbreak, and inevitable exposure? Or could two people, bound by passion and defiance, navigate the treacherous waters of life and emerge together, scarred but unbroken? One evening, in the quiet after yet another confrontation, Emma sat alone, staring out at the darkened sea. The realization hit her with an almost physical force. Their love, forbidden and all-consuming, had become a force that neither time nor circumstance could contain, yet its very existence demanded sacrifice and courage beyond measure. Could they, survive the ultimate revelation? And even if they did, what would be left of their hearts after truth, betrayal, and societal judgment had exacted its toll? In the final hours of tension, the story took a twist neither Emma nor Daniel anticipated. Lucas, the journalist, had been secretly recording not just their affair, but also Sophia's growing obsession, and now held evidence that could rewrite the narrative entirely. Suddenly, the tables turned. Daniel and Emma were no longer the only ones vulnerable. Power, perception, and passion collided in a whirlwind that left everyone on edge, hearts racing, and moral boundaries blurred. The forbidden love that had started as a thrilling secret was now a catalyst for chaos, and every decision carried consequences beyond imagination. Do Emma and Daniel find a way to protect their love from exposure, or will the truth destroy everything they have fought to preserve? Will Sophia's judgment, Lucas's manipulation, and the shadows of Daniel's past finally pull them apart, or can passion survive where logic demands surrender? Comment. I need answers. If this story has gripped your soul, share this story with those who crave tales of forbidden desire and suspense. Subscribe to Taboo Romance Stories TVc, and turn on the notification bell. The ultimate truth, the shocking betrayals, and the fate of hearts intertwined by both love and danger await revelation. Watch closely, because nothing is as it seems, and the final chapter of this saga will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. This is Taboo Romance Stories TVc. Forbidden romance stories, told like never before. Stay with us for more gripping tales of passion, desire, and heartbreak that defy the rules of love and life.